So, good morning and welcome to today's LinkedIn Lead Generation Masterclass. I'm your host, Alex Smith, and as we gather today, let's just open our minds and hearts to the journey of growth that lies ahead. This is a space of learning, reflection, and also transformation. So, where are we at? Over the next 13 weeks, we're actually going to move through a series designed to unlock your B2B potential and elevate your business to completely new heights. Every one of these 45-minute sessions has been crafted to address key aspects of B2B success. And some of the things that we're going to look at here on the overview, you can see week one today, we're looking at unlocking your B2B potential. We've got a bit of a blueprint to success. So this is great for those people who don't even have a business or a side hustle or a consultancy, whatever they're doing. If they've not got that yet, this session today is just for you because we're looking at our niche, looking at our unique value proposition, all that sort of stuff, which is going to make a real difference to what we're doing. And then week two, we kind of move into decision maker dynamics, how to unlock those closed doors with decision makers in substantially sized businesses. So at Leadith, one of the things we do is we leverage LinkedIn to build relationships with these types of people. So I'm kind of honing in on my experience over the last kind of 4 or 5 years doing that, and going to show you some top tips and tricks. So join next week if you're interested in that. Week three, we're looking at the lead conversion formula, getting those contacts into contracts. So what's the secret from getting just a warm kind of connection, first degree connection on LinkedIn into someone that's going to actually do business with you and become a lifelong partner of your business. We'll look at time mastery, so unlocking productivity to help you do more with the little time that you've got. I currently do a 3-day working week, Monday, Tuesday, and a Thursday. And all my clients know that and they're fully aware. And I'm able to kind of still generate a decent revenue just on those 3 days. They're long old days, but it gives me a fantastic work-life balance. So we'll look at some of that a bit later on. We've got the science of selling coming up, the client retention code. So once you've got those clients, how we go about looking after those clients is very important too. So in the series, we've got so much great stuff there. So and these are just stepping stones towards not just business growth, but personal. This ties in very much into spiritual growth development as well. And much of what we do is underpinned by the biblical wisdom that we find in the Bible. So meet your guide, Alex Smith. So that's me. I'm the founder of Leadith. I've got extensive experience in LinkedIn lead generation, and I've got a heart and a passion for empowering businesses to see them transform. And I'm here to navigate through the complexities of B2B growth. I'm going to help you do that today. I just want to say good morning to Justin. Thank you for tuning into the live session, Justin. Welcome. So this goes out live to LinkedIn, live to YouTube. We like to make the sessions a little bit more interactive. So it's great when we have 2 or 3 people joining us in the live room. So I really appreciate you coming along, Justin. This is the first of the series. I only started promoting this on Friday, so I haven't really given it the promotion it needs because I've enjoyed summer too much. But hopefully you'll get to grips with what we're talking about. Okay. So let's move on. We're looking at unleashing your B2B potential week and the blueprint, what I call the blueprint to success. And this masterclass is dedicated to laying the foundations of your business strategy. We're going to be looking at your unique value and selling goals, things that that aspire you to do greatness. What I love to do at the start of all my sessions is take a moment of reflection. So in the stillness, let's just ponder on our purpose and the vision that we hold for our business. This is time for clarity. It's time for insight, aligning our intentions with our actions. And there's a great verse here that I've pulled out from Jeremiah. Some of you might know it. It basically says, "For I know the plans that I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans for welfare, not for evil, to give you a future and a hope." So when I read that verse, it just really rings out and says something to me about kind of how I do business and the relationships I build. So it really kind of sets a precedence for what you do, and knowing that God's behind you and He's backing for you is probably the the single most unique value proposition that you can have in business. So, fellow Christians, fellow believers who follow that, you've already got an amazing USP that is so radical and so different to the rest of the world already. Let's just take a moment and think about that verse. So, having looked at that verse, I thought, what a great question that might help us out here. What's the vision for your business that you believe aligns with the plans for prosperity and hope? So, as we contemplate on that verse from Jeremiah 29, let it inspire our thoughts and aspirations. So, I have a bit of a vision behind what I do at Leadeth. I'll share this on the first video with you guys, but I won't share this every single week. The vision for Leadeth is deeply intertwined with this promise, where hope and prosperity are not just goals, but a divine assurance. For Leadeth, this means creating a space where B2B coaches and consultants can really not only find the tools and strategies to grow their businesses, but also find a community that's going to nurture and be aspirational to their values. So our ambition is really to transform Leadeth into a beacon for those seeking professional success, but a balance between their business ambitions and spiritual well-being. People talk about people don't talk about spiritual health. It's often physical health or mental health and all these other things. And I think in life and in business, a big thing that we often miss is our spiritual well-being. So it's important to top that up. Like, exercise is good for you. Diving into God's word is equally more important to me, I find. So I'm aiming to guide clients towards achieving some real tangible outcomes, like increasing their visibility on LinkedIn, being consistent with their lead generation, and then ensuring that these achievements are really going to resonate with their personal values and certainly God's plan for their prosperity. So feel free to pop in the chat if this has resonated with you. What are you looking for in terms of plans for prosperity and hope for your business? Great to share that in the chat if you're on LinkedIn Live, tuning in, or on, I think this goes out to YouTube as well. Yeah. So I have to be super quick on these sessions because there's so much interesting stuff to cover off. And I keep going through and reflecting on previous sessions and thinking, what am I going to pull out? What's not so relevant? Appreciate any feedback from these sessions to further improve them. But as we start looking at this potential blueprint, we start looking at niche, we start looking at how to craft your USP or your UVP, your unique value proposition. We'll also look at maybe setting scalable goals so you can actually move forward with that purpose, with that enthusiasm, and certainly an open mind to the possibilities that await you. So we're going to look at all sorts today. Just wanted to send you a quick message. This is leadeth.io/school. So this is a link to our school community. Hopefully, most of you have joined the community, and it looks a little bit like the community. I'll just share it with you there. So within the community, we've got a classroom with loads of courses and loads of stuff. We've got a welcome course that you can talk to you about the basics of Leadeth. There's some case studies in there as well. We've got a recording for every single lead generation masterclass that I've done for the last 2 years. So that's a huge repository there of all of these sessions, which you can access. We've also got a 4-day challenge that we run every quarter. And there's a prize, we give away 3 months of our Leadeth software as a prize to people that come along to those challenges. We've also got a private client drop-in session. So this is if you're a Leadeth client, this will be unlocked and available to you. Stage 1 and 2 are part of the Leadeth roadmap. So stage 1 is looking at your target audience. Stage 2 is looking at how to prime your personal LinkedIn profile so it speaks with clarity to that audience. And then stage 3, we look at LinkedIn outreach and how we can automate that whole process. If it's working well manually, we then look to automate it and scale. Stage 4 is very much about email outreach. So LinkedIn is great, but having a multi-channel outreach system like email as well. So once someone's connected with you on LinkedIn, it's great to then connect with them via email. Stage 5 is to do with content marketing. So I've got a bit of a whiz kid called Victor who takes this session often. He's my kind of head of content at Leadith, looks after all the social media for me. Stage 6 is all about appointment setting, having structures and systems in place behind your business that are going to help you to achieve really good scale and good growth. There's a few other bits and pieces here, like we provide High Level, which is Go High Level. It's a CRM platform, which is branded Leadith. And there's a few other courses that you might find a bit more interesting. So we picked on the spiritual side. I'm connected with faith-driven entrepreneurs, bit of a facilitator there, head up some 8-week courses. You can find out more about that. And you can also learn about Change Your World, which is another similar type thing to do with values and instilling really good values in your life. Alpha, if you're exploring what Christianity means, I really recommend you hopping along to the Alpha course. There's loads of videos there for you to watch. And you can start to come back here in the community and ask questions. We've also got a calendar. So within the calendar, these are all the events that are going on. So there's a bit of an itinerary here for the rest of the month. A lot of these are client drop-ins. We also run a weekly prayer meeting, which is every Wednesday currently at 9:30. So feel free to come along and join us for half an hour, just so we can pray for your ventures, pray for your businesses to succeed, and pray for wisdom in those situations. So I love those times. Every other week, the prayer meetings happen. Currently, we have about 276 members in the community. So really appreciate if you would, if you align with this and you want to join. It'd be great to have you in there. We'll also have a bit of a leaderboard, and that unlocks different levels within the community. So delighted to share that with you. Once again, it's Leadeth, leadeth.io/school, and that's where you can access that resource. So before we delve into this concept of niching down and identifying your niche, this is kind of like the foundation which all your marketing and engagement efforts should be built upon. There's several elements to it. So firstly and foremost, having a clear niche allows you to really sharpen your focus so that you know exactly who your target audience is, and then you can direct your marketing efforts and resources much more efficiently instead of maybe spreading yourself quite thinly, trying to appeal to absolutely everybody. So when you start to concentrate on that specific group, that's when you see really good wins, and it saves time, saves money, but also really amplifies your impact. And when we talk about messaging, that messaging needs to be tailored. So once you've identified your niche, which is the first step with how we work with clients, we then look at maybe how do we craft a message that's going to really deeply resonate with that audience. A well-defined niche means that you understand your audience's specific pain points, their challenges, and also their aspirations. And this really enables us to speak directly to their concerns using language that will help and examples that they can then relate to. So when our messaging is really tailored and relevant, it naturally is just going to attract the right people and make our communication much more persuasive. We've also got the increased credibility. So when we start to specialize in that niche and target that one specific type of person, really does enhance that credibility. So decision makers are going to be much more likely to trust us and engage with someone who really demonstrates a very deep understanding of their specific pain point, rather than maybe a generalist who has got a lot of surface level knowledge but can't really go in too deep. So when you start to position yourself as the kind of the go-to expert in your niche, it really does help you to build authority and trust, which is really crucial for converting leads into clients. And that's what this is all about. Once you've got a nice clear niche, it's going to help us to tailor our message. It's also going to help us to convert prospects into clients. And the success rate is going to go up. Decision makers will feel really understood. They can see that your solution is specifically designed to address their specific unique needs. And they're just so much more inclined to take action, is what I find. And that leads to really high conversion rates. So as your offerings are perceived as much more valuable, much more relevant, they're going to be really on fire and want to know more about it and sign up. There's this thing called strategic resource allocation. So identifying your niche really allows you to work a lot smarter in terms of where your resources are getting used, whether it's time, money, or energy. When you start to focus down on that niche, you could have a big sticky note on the screen there, write that niche there. So all your efforts and focus are always going to be directed towards areas where there's a real high potential for return. Instead of like casting that net super wide and just hoping for the best, or the spray and pray method. You really got to strategically target your effort, and that's got to be where it's going to make the most impact. So I'm going to help you through this when we start to look at things you can do to really help you to identify it. Finally, we need to think about market positioning. I know we need a competitive edge, and in today's crowded marketplace, standing out is crucial. LinkedIn, I think we're at 700 million profiles on LinkedIn. That's a lot of people out there all talking about different things. So we need to be clear about our niche. We need to carve out this unique value proposition that's going to differentiate you from the competition. And it's not just another option. You become a preferred choice for that specific group of decision makers. So they want to see you as a uniquely qualified person that's going to deal with their market needs. So our focus throughout this masterclass series is very much about B2B, business to business. Most of my kind of niching down at the moment is to do with consultants and coaches. I've had quite a lot of success recently working with freelance consultants, business coaches, people kind of solopreneurs that are basically working in smaller teams. That's where I kind of enjoy it most. Now, let's talk about the concept of broad appeal versus narrow appeal. This is a key aspect of how we position ourselves, certainly when we're trying to engage with decision makers. So in this illustration, you'll notice we've got three categories. We've got the here we've got the influencer, we've got the expert, and then we've got the niche. I guess you've got the broad appeal over there on the left-hand side, and then on the right-hand side, we've got the narrow appeal. And with broad appeal, these are kind of people, influencers who've got many fans. They can speak to a really wide audience, often casting this net out really wide with a single pound sign being symbolic of the potential earnings that they could yield from that approach. And this broad approach, it creates visibility, but what we find is it often lacks depth and the targeted relevance that it needs to convert those decision makers. So often what we see is a much lower conversion rate. In the middle, we kind of see a bit of both. We see experts, and these are individuals with a much more focused audience. Their appeal is narrower, and they typically engage with more specific groups, maybe. So they kind of have started to niche down a little bit. Now, experts really can start to command much higher fees, and that's reflected by a significant increase in the middle section here, and often they're giving more value to their targeted audience, and that's going to resonate so much more with decision makers. And then finally, right over here on the right-hand side, we've got the 2 pound signs there. We've got niche specialists, and these allow people to really focus even further, targeting on a very specific audience with a tailored solution. And this approach is just so strong. They can, they're the best at what they do. They go in deep. They can charge the big high ticket numbers because there's a lot more trust there and a lot more perceived value by all the decision makers that are within that specific niche. So as we kind of move forward in this masterclass, we're going to start to show you how to kind of leverage this understanding of broad versus narrow to effectively reach and engage decision makers, particularly on platforms like LinkedIn. That's kind of our main focus. So we're actually going to dive into the kind of psychology behind decision making, effective communication strategies, and also how to position yourself as a go-to in your niche. So does your passion meet market need? Here's a few things to kind of really understand how you can kind of think about what you want to do, niche down, where you want to go. So start by listing down different areas of expertise and skills. I've got quite a broad skill range, certainly in the marketing side. I also do a bit of web development, not code, but what you see is what you get type web designing, because my background was in print. So design is kind of in me. And then I've also got other skills like marketing automation and going in deep with software tools like GHL and the Leadeth tool and other things. So quite a wide thing. I've also scaled up businesses. I've scaled up e-commerce businesses from nothing to a kind of a bedroom-based business or a living room-based business through to a business that turned over 500,000. And I've managed a successful exit from that business. So quite a wide background of experience. So think about, is there a strategic development to kind of what you're doing, your skill set? Can you implement technology, or is it maybe people management that you're best with? So that niche needs to feel as natural and exciting to you as possible. Think about the Myers-Briggs personality type survey. So that's a really great place to start. It will give you some outputs and help you to kind of understand what are your key core strengths and skills. We need to be also doing some research. So researching market gaps. So once we've got a bit of a clear idea of our strengths, it's then time to look outside of our own strengths and think, right, what are the pain points of typical businesses in this sector? And you can use powerful things like surveys, industry reports, white papers, interviewing people, podcasting, or you can do kind of direct interviews with people or existing clients if you've got one or two clients already to really gather more information and look for patterns or recurring themes in that data that you're collecting. So that's a really kind of useful thing. I've recently done it. I did it for B2B coaches and consultants, and the data was really valuable, and it's helped me to build a whole new product that's better tailored to that specific audience. So we need to evaluate the competition. Never take your eyes off the competition. We do need to understand, who are our competitors? What are they offering? And that will help us to highlight potential opportunities for us to be a little bit different, a bit more unique. So we need to look out for different services that are maybe undeserved or not yet covered well by your competitors. So think about, those little gaps. And that's where your niche might just be hiding when you start to do that. So let's now combine kind of all these kind of insights, and let's look for intersections where your greatest strengths meet and come together in the middle of those kind of three circles. And that's where you need to focus, and that's where your niche is likely to exist. So before we commit to kind of validating our findings, we've got to do a few things. And one of the key things that I encourage a lot of clients to do is to kind of pilot or beta test what they're doing. And this is where you offer a service to maybe a smaller group or select number of clients initially within your identified niche. And it's just to see how well it's received. And the key here is having these feedback loops where we're constantly collecting, analyzing feedback rigorously. So every week, we want to know what's different, what's new, what's working, what's not. That information is really gold in terms of helping you to really refine your niche. So we need to start really positioning ourselves as the go-to expert. And once we've confirmed that niche, it's all about positioning. It's all about being able to develop and share really high quality content that is going to address that specific issue within your niche. Often one of those things that you could do is to try and speak at an industry event, maybe host webinars, engage actively on professional networks like LinkedIn, putting posts out there, content, articles and posts. It could be starting a podcast where you can start to establish yourself as a thought leader. So all these actions really help you to build authority, establish yourself as a go-to expert in the field. So remember, just identifying that niche is very much an iterative process. You've got to evolve it as you grow in your business, and the market demands will shift. What worked yesterday often might not work today. That's how quick it moves, and especially in this age where kind of AI is developing and stuff like that, we really do need to keep our finger on the pulse. So I've mentioned a little bit today about UVP or USP. So UVP is your unique value proposition. And this is kind of the next step is to really kind of define what sets you apart. So your unique value proposition is what makes your service absolutely irresistible to potential clients. And this is in this part of the session, we're going to guide you through, how to develop that UVP that's really going to communicate the benefits of your services tailored to the needs and the challenges of your target audience. And I have to actually record this and go back and listen to it myself and apply it to my own business and really work on it. So that's I love doing this bit because it just little thoughts trigger and little things think, I need to do that, or I need to do that better. So it's a good reminder for me as well as you if you're tuning in on the live stream. So, what are the components of a really strong UVP? Well, clarity is first. It should really immediately convey what it is with clarity. So, we need to avoid jargon words that are potentially going to confuse clients. It's got to be specific. So, specificity or something like that is what came up. I got rid of it. It's too long word, can't say it. So, I just put specific. It needs to be really precise about the benefits that you offer and how these address your clients' needs. It needs to be unique. So we've got to highlight what sets your offering apart from competitors. That could be your methodology. It could be your experience, special skills, or even a unique process or maybe tools that you use. For me, one of the key factors is that I'm a Christian. So I've got some really great values of integrity and honesty, transparency when I deal with client relationships. And that I would hope is very attractive to a lot of lead gen agencies out there who maybe don't possess those qualities or claim to possess them, but actually don't deliver, fail to deliver. They say they'll do something, but they let you down, or they'll promise XYZ number of leads per week, and you're left there waiting. So for me, that's quite important. And it's important that we have measurable stats in how we work. We've also got this appeal, lastly. So your UVP, your unique value proposition, needs to be really compelling. It's got to resonate emotionally with your target audience. And you've got to tap into kind of what they value most. So steps to create this kind of UVP, I've put it down to kind of four steps with a few tips. So try to identify your client pain points. When you start to understand their specific problems or needs, it really helps your target market. It really helps your message to them resonate. Think about linking those kind of different benefits that you have in your UVP to their pain points. So if you can articulate how your specific service really provides a solution to that specific pain point they're experiencing, that really helps. And later on in the masterclass series, we actually look at Don Miller's approach. I'm a big fan of his book. It's called Story Brand. We create these things called brand scripts, which really helps us dive into the who, what, where, how. Oh, that was Siri just trying to interrupt. But yeah, communicate with differentiators is another thing we need to do. So we need to clearly state what makes these solutions unique compared to what's already out there in the market. And then obviously test and refine. So using that feedback, we mentioned about feedback loops earlier, any performance data you can get, that's really going to help you to kind of refine that UVP and ensure it continues to resonate with your target audience. And then some common mistakes, you just want to avoid being too vague. Avoid that generic statement or that broad appeal bit that could be to any company in your industry. So that's just being too vague. Personalization is key. Over-promising, ensure that your UVP is realistic and it's deliverable. If you over-promise and don't deliver, that's really going to damage your credibility. Often people have issues over a lack of focus, a UVP that really tries to appeal to everyone, and often that can resonate with just nobody. So keep it focused on your primary target audience. And you might have 2 or 3 versions of this UVP for slightly different audiences as well. Everyone knows about setting actionable goals. So this is kind of the next step in this week's masterclass. And it involves setting really clear, measurable, achievable goals that are going to not only aim to expand your business, but also help you in alignment with your personal values and your long-term vision. We're going to discuss how to break down those main objectives into actionable steps. And that allows for continual progress and monitoring and adjustment. So it keeps you on that path towards real sustainable growth. Why is it so important? Well, it's important because we talk about purpose and direction. Goal setting really does provide a bit of a roadmap, bit of a strategy for where you want your business to go. And when you can set those, daily tasks, with the more meaningful focus, I tend to do 3 tasks a day. What are the top 3 things that are going to move the KPIs and move the needles? And that needs to be your focus. So we have this thing called SMART goals, and that's all about making things specific. So the goal needs to be clear and it needs to be specific to avoid any confusion about what you're trying to achieve. M is for measurable, when we need to try and track the progress, and we need to know, when you've achieved the goal. So you've got to have it measurable. Make it achievable. Whilst goals should be these, big, hairy, audacious goals and things like that, they need to be challenging, but we also need to make them attainable, to prevent any discouragement. If you're not hitting those goals, it can be very devastating. R is for relevancy. So the goal needs to align with your broader business strategy and personal values. And then that helps you to contribute towards that long-term success. And the final one, T, is making sure it's time-bound. So when you put a little deadline, that creates that urgency and it prompts you into action if you've got those deadlines there. So there's a few top tips on setting smart goals. I can go in a bit deeper on those, but I think we're going to run out of time. I've been jabbering on for half an hour, so I'd love to put it out to the room. I know, Justin, you're there. Hopefully you're still there. It'd be good to kind of understand a little bit more about what you're doing, if that's all right. Yeah, as I said earlier, we only started promoting the event back in Friday last week because I've had summer holiday off. So it's getting into the swing of building it up again. Normally get 9 or 10 or so, so they're normally a little bit more populated. But I don't mind because it's a great resource that gets recorded, gets added to the community. People can watch replays. So yeah, I'm not too fussed about the numbers. It's quality, not quantity. And you're here today, Justin. So you've made it. Yeah, you've made it worthwhile. Yeah.
In helping businesses to grow, working particularly in the education business space. I love helping to bring businesses and organizations together to help them support their business development, support their growth, support their lead generation. Most importantly for me, it's about alignment of vision and values and making a difference and having impact, which I know can sound quite broad, but actually for me, it really is about having impact. And it was great hearing that's the same for you, Alex, in terms of wanting to align to your faith, which was great to you share about that openly, and then but also having impact. And yeah, appreciated the session. Been in this space for the last 4 years. Previously had been working in education for 30 years, so moved out of
Wow.
working within schools after COVID to being a consultant, got a company called Conscious Learning Limited, and yeah, love doing the kind of work that you're doing, and really grateful for the connection and also for the session today.
Yeah.
So
So in
yeah,
terms
that's
of
a little bit about me.
yeah, thank you. Thanks,
And I
Justin.
do have a faith, Alex. So I
Excellent.
know about FDE, FDI. Justin in America messaged me this morning,
Oh,
aware of
brilliant.
Henry, tracking with Dan Maudhub and the wonderful summit, wonderful leaders community. If you come across that wonderful summit, I'm part of that, supporting that, and yeah, tracking with Dan and joining the FDE community next Tuesday, which I'm really excited about. So
Brilliant.
Sarah Louise has plugged me
Yeah,
in with that. So I'm sure some of those people that you will know, I will know, and yeah,
sure.
really appreciate the session and really appreciate you being open about your faith too, because not everyone does, and it's great to
Yeah,
see
yeah. I mean,
you being really comfortable and open about who you are and why you do what you do.
yeah, yeah. So I think the world would be a very different place if Christians were a bit bolder and took that step. Unfortunately, it's not going to align with everyone, and it's going to rub a few people up the wrong way. But that's just natural. But I think, yeah, biblically, we need to be salt and light out there in the world, and yeah, so that's why I do it.
Yeah, I'm aware that you're recording, so I don't want to take up too much of the remaining time, but just to say, we've just had a big event at Whiston House, Whiston Estate. So I live opposite Whiston
Oh,
House,
okay.
Whiston Estate, home of Big Church
That's
Festival.
right. Yeah.
We just had wildfires, and Jackie Pullinger was there, who
Oh, wow.
that's how I came to faith, through her work with drug addicts. I wasn't an addict, but I just came across her ministry, her work, and transformed me in my life. And
Amazing.
yeah, she's super inspiring. So some of your listeners, some of those business leaders you're connecting to, if they have a faith, they might find Jackie's work and Wildfires a support and encouragement to what they're doing.
Excellent. Well, yeah. I've come across some of her teaching before, and it's amazing how someone can go into like those remotest parts where there's so much need and just be, just willingly just do what God tells them to do, and God turns up and the Spirit works, and it's just like amazing transformations happen like that. It's quite incredible.
Yeah, one thing I think is really encouraging, for the likes of you and I and the community that you've got with leaders, is that more and more people are engaging in business to make a difference and have impact. And we know that government can have impact at scale, but actually, there's not lots of inspiration coming from government
No,
these days. That's my personal opinion. But actually, business can have huge impact. And when businesses connect and the community grows and businesses are working, sharing, learning, growing together, then we can really have impact in our community. So it's really
yeah,
encouraging to see people engaging in business.
for sure. Yeah, I'm kind of still longing to. I think somewhere down the line soon, there's going to be someone that really clicks with my skill set and my abilities, and they're going to say,
Mm.
right, let's co-found something or collaborate on something. Because I'm mindful that one person can only achieve so much, whereas if you collaborate with someone else who shares the same values as you can achieve so much more. And that's what I want to see. I want to see something like
Great.
that come about, which is why I'm always open for conversations and discussions, and seeing where what happens. So
Oh, that's
yeah,
wonderful. Well, that was the spirit of why I reached out to you. So I love that you connected to me. So we can have the start of that conversation when we talk
yeah,
later
for
this
sure.
month. And I'm really looking forward to
No,
it.
thanks for hopping in on the masterclass. So yeah, this is a weekly masterclass. So next week we're going to dive in a little bit deeper on connecting with decision makers, and that will be 9:30 UK London time next Tuesday. But until then, I thank you for joining us all. Thank you for those that have watched the watching on the live stream. It's been a real pleasure to present this masterclass and bring some thoughts to you. So yeah, have a great rest of your week. Thank you. Thanks, Justin. Looking forward to catching up soon. Yes, yeah, we're off on the live stream now. So yeah. I've got a 10:15, I think. Let me just double check the calendar. No, actually, I'm all right till 10:30. So yeah, I can stay on for a bit. Yes, yeah, I'm in Dorchester. This is okay. Yeah, brilliant. Yeah. Oh yeah. Prayer, prayer 24/7, isn't he? Something to do with prayer 24/7. Mm, yeah. Yeah. Brilliant. What an image. Yeah, so my contact is through FDE through Sarah, who's Sarah. She's quite involved with it. I've been invited. Yes, so I've been invited, but it's a distance thing because it's like North East London or wherever it is. Normally it's St John's, isn't it? Oh, Hackney, yeah. So it's just getting the getting the commute, getting the day off. It's always been a challenge, but would love to check it out sometime. Yeah, sure, brilliant. It's awesome. Yeah, yeah. No, brilliant. It's exciting. Yeah, so, Victor on the call, he's a Christian. He's a, in basically a VA based in Nigeria, and, yeah. Yes, yeah, so I'm gonna say hello, Victor. Yeah, yeah. It's about 2 years now, I think. Is it 2 years? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I've been a facilitator for probably around about 2 years. I've run 3, groups, 3 of the 8-week courses, and I've facilitated the conference last year at my church, so I'll be trying the same again. There's only so many, faith-driven, self-employed people in a small town like Dorchester, so the opportunity is really small. Um, and to get the message far and wide, you go to, like, churches together and you try and circulate a message out, but you don't really get a pickup too many people pick up on it. So I have to go cherry pick people from my network who I definitely know they're believers and send them a personal invite. So yeah, hoping for try and get a few more numbers on the conference on the 20th. So yeah, yes, yeah, that's the FDE conference. It's a live stream. They call it a watch party. So yeah, but fantastic to meet. Yeah, it's probably more so non-believers currently, which is fine. But yeah, if I wanted to niche down, I think it's nice to be out there in the workplace, and you know, yeah, it is, it is. So, but I've had so many calls where people have said, "Oh, something in life has just happened, and I'll just say, "Well, can I pray with you right now, right now?" And so many Zoom sessions where I've just ended in prayer, and it's been like amazing. And the follow up, yeah, uh, the follow ups are just a real blessing. Yeah, I could go on forever with stories and things, but I'm gonna leave it there and save it. Yeah, it's a bold move, a bold move. It's fine. Amen. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I mean, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I mean, those yeah, I normally do have an extra bit of a buffer at the end of those calls so we can talk a bit longer as well. But yeah, lovely to meet you, Justin. Take care. Bye.